So you got a porch pot kit to make a porch pot for the holidays? How easy. This is probably our easiest project that we do. So you should have gotten a pot like this that's filled with compost and a big bundle of greens and decorations. So let's see what we're gonna do here. I'm gonna cut this bundle up and see what I've got. I've got a bow, we're gonna poof that later. I've got some beautiful red winter berries. This is related to hollies. This is a deciduous holly that loses its leaves for the winter time. We've got some pine cones, a star, and some white branches. And we're gonna put these all off to the side for now. We're gonna start with our greens. And we've got 3 different kinds of greens. The first one that you have the most of is this very fragrant balsam. That's the one that smells like Christmas. And then you've got a couple of other different kinds of greens. You have some white pine, and you have some arborvitae, or you could have some juniper in your kit, but you've got 3 different kinds of greens to work with. And we're gonna start with the balsam. You're gonna decide if you wanna see this pot from one side or from all around. And I'm gonna design this one as if you're gonna see it from one side. And I'm gonna take a piece like this and just stick it right in the back to determine how high I want the pot to be. I don't want the pot to be too tall, even if some of the greens are very tall, because you have to be careful of the wind and the pot blowing over. So even if you've gotten a piece in your kit, let's say this big, this is a little bit too tall to put in. So I'm gonna take this really tall piece and I'm gonna cut it down a little bit. We're gonna put this tall piece also in the back. And I've kind of started to make a little bit of a fan shape here. And then I'm gonna put a piece to the right and a piece to the left to just determine the width. So we're gonna do the height and the width. And then you just keep going. You're gonna put maybe a short piece in the front of that balsam. And I can't work backwards, I gotta come around here. And I'm just gonna keep filling in until I've used all the balsam up. Looks like there's still a little bit of a gap here. So I'll get another taller piece in the back. And it really doesn't matter. You're gonna probably be looking and trying to make it perfect, but so many other greens are gonna keep going in here and decorations that you're not gonna notice each particular one. So I've got all those guys in there. One more piece of balsam. Stick in there. And then we're gonna use the white pine. And the white pine has the wispy texture. You don't wanna use a porch pot all with white pine unless you got a whole big one that came down in a storm, because it's so see-through and you need a lot in order to fill in. But putting just a few pieces of the white pine in front of the balsam adds some texture and just makes the pot a little bit more interesting. So we're gonna stick that in, and you can cut these down if you need them, if you need to. And I'm gonna slide back to the front here and take a look at what I got going. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of this arborvitae in here. That guy's sticking down. I wanna stick him up a little bit more. And this one's just a flat. Another name for this is cedar. Just adds a different texture. And it really doesn't take very long to green up this pot. Just like that. So after you've got it all greened up, then we're gonna go ahead and add the white branches. And these guys are wild dogwood collected on our farm. They don't grow white. It looks like it's a white birch, but white birch, when they're this small, they're not white yet. They don't get that white bark until they're older. So this kind of mimics the forest in New England. And if it's a really tall piece, you might want to cut it down, but this looks like it's just about right. And we're gonna stick that in there. And over there, and stick another tall one in. This one isn't as bad when it's too high because the wind should blow right through it. So it's okay to have that come up a little bit higher, but I am going to break this piece down and stick that guy in there and this one in there. So it's all throughout. You can do it however you want. You can stick them all the way in the back. You can cluster them all together. Same thing with the winterberry. You might have gotten one big branch. You might have gotten two smaller branches. I think I'm going to cut this one up a little bit. I hate to do it. This is a nice tall branch, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to cut these two side pieces off and have one tall one. I think I'm just going to go right ahead and a little bit shorter. Measure twice, cut once. This one down a little bit. And stick some red berries. And back, the left, and the right. And I'm going to go ahead and put the bow in. So I want to put the bow in before I put the cones in, so that I don't cover up the cones. And these have 3 loops on each side, and if you pull the inner loop towards the tails, and you pull really hard, don't be afraid to pull this really hard. Inner loop, oops, I just did it wrong. Inner loop towards the tails, inner loop towards the tails, and that should open up your bow. And you can take this guy and you can wire it right to a branch. You can wire it up high, you can wire it down low, just somewhere on there so that it sticks and doesn't blow in the wind. And then you can add your pine cones that are already on a pick. I like to hide the stems so that you don't see the brown. Don't be afraid to break some of these down or cut these down lower. I don't like all 5 to be at the same height. That's like soldiers standing in a line. So, but just cut these guys up. 1, 2. We like to use odd numbers, so we should have 5 in this kit. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we'll do a nice tall one up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pine cones in there. Kind of makes a little curve. And then we'll finish it off with a nice little star in there. Just like that. And that's your porch pot.